Starting to sense. It's quite cool. I've got 1,000 things open. There we are. Sweet.
Okay, I should probably share mine.
Cool.
Oh, right. Infinite. Let me, well, actually, if I can just do this. Over there, that's fine. Just so I don't put the infinity. It's just as well. Okay. What is next? Question. Let me see where. Oh, it just refuses. Refuses to keep the textures in. No?
I do find Rhinos quite annoying with this. It's like the amount of files, because I've transferred laptops over, and you just lose everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to find in its textures. I'm looking for. I don't even know what that one would have been. Let's see. It's a screenshot. That's the same. That's the same. It's all the same. Let's see if I can find that really quick. Here. Textures. Nope. Normally I would keep them there. Let me think. If there are any of these folders. Like I just saw something when I was looking through files that said like embedded, blah blah blah. Embedded file. Okay. It's definitely this one. I'm just gonna copy this. Go up here. There. Do that, and then let me browse to that real quick. Let's see. Job this. And oh, hold on 1 second. Let me just pause something. Okay. So creative, I would have data textures, that be the one. Okay.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Now, what I want is reading this material. Do that here. Okay. Okay, that's the one. So look at where the name is different. Wait, quick, consider name. Oh, you can just. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. Yeah, truly don't remember what most of the rest of this was, so I'm going to delete them. Oh. There's another one. Excuse me. Okay, those are at least part of these. Okay. All right.
I was kind of, maybe if you could maybe talk me through like the splits, the hinges, all that stuff.
Yeah, let's see. So, okay, right. This thing
I think
again.
building like that hardware on the right hand side, it's pretty straightforward. I think that's quite sort of like basic geometry, but it's more the cuts that you would need to do to make a operating hinge. Because I think apart from that, I'm quite happy with the sort of flow along curve and things like that.
Just looking to see from this sort of top view, like what this little screw head is there indicating. Not real sure. As far as the hinge, let's see. So, you could. I'm just take a look. I mean, it's. Just see what I have here. If I do, well, I can hinges. So if I have a 5 barrel, I have a 7.
The hinges tend to be quite standard componentry for.
They tend to be, sorry, what?
Do they tend to be quite standard, or is
Yeah,
it very
definitely, especially for this type of frame. Yeah. Let me just see if I import this generic one, what that looks like. Which looks like based on the file name, looks like I got it from GrabCAD. So this is almost. So these little hooks or anchor anvil type shapes are called heat stakes, and what they do is they essentially, let me work those real quick. Oh well, let me go with those. Sorry. They tend to they'll just like locally just heat up like this portion of the temple or like this portion of the temple and just press it in there.
Oh, really?
Or the same, sorry, with here, like on the front, they'll just like heat up the end piece and then it just gets pressed in there. It's like a machine. So it's an old jig, they press it in there.
Oh, so they're not even like carving little holes out, it's essentially just forced in.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And there might be a very small pocket, but it's not like a pocket that's the size of necessarily all this. It's like they probably have some idea of, I mean, they've done it a zillion times. So it's like, like, oh, if we cut out this, mill out this much or something out of the hinge, like it just creates enough space for this to.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, so since this is an acetate frame, I assume the idea is that this is an acetate frame. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm nodding and forgetting that you're not.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So if it's an acetate frame, there's a core wire that goes through this guy.
Yeah.
Right. And so for example,
so like how the core wire actually work, is that like placed the same way, or is it like sandwiched in, or
it typically, like I'll say on a frame like this, it is I'm just going to do where's the internet? There, the rest of the internet. There it is. It's they heat up the whole temple. It just sort of sits in like a heater, basically. And check that. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tag.
Oh, hello. So temples, and then what does it have? Did it show it open? Okay. So it's like they're gonna put this guy in there they're gonna lay a flat here. Let's see if actually put it in there. That. So that little piece that darn it that just came in.
Yeah.
It's really just pushing it in, like it's heat. So it's like an acetate gets warm.
Yeah. Because all acetates are thermoplastics, right? Or not?
I think that's a thermoplastic. Yeah, I mean versus a thermoset. Yeah.
Because I remember I was having some issues with an acetate frame the other day, and the company just said to put it under hot water and bend it back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that'll definitely it softens it essentially, right? Like you heat it up, it's soft. Right, like so if you think of like acetate, it's more like it's like taffy, sort of. Like if it didn't have a core wire in it and you heat it up, you could like it's like a very it's like sort of like taffy. So you could like tie it in a knot almost.
Yeah.
But you could like tie it in a knot practically. And it'll stay like that until you heat it up, and you could say untie it. I mean, you'd be a little screwed up at that point, but so that's the point of the core wire, is to give it that adjustability, or to give it so that it stays where you adjust it to. But a lot of times you have to heat it up a bit in order to adjust it, and then let it cool back. So there's like frame heaters for that, just like two little blowers that you put the temple in between, and it just blows heat till it's warm, and then you can kind of adjust the ear bend. Typically is what people are adjusting.
Yeah.
So in this case, it would probably look like most core wires are do this from the front real quick, are either 1 millimeter or 1.2 in diameter if it's a circular core wire. So I would just draw a circle. What am I set to diameter? So 1.2, let's say, just to make it thick ones, fairly thick temple. So we'd have that, and then I'm looking at it relative to this guy. Okay. So if I just extrude the curve, it's going to go usually to here, but then I'm going to move it back 10.
Yeah.
Usually it's about 10 from the tip.
Because on this specific pair of sunglasses, the wire inside is almost like it goes. I don't know if you can see me. Like
yeah.
It goes. Wait, let me draw. I don't mean kind of more rough sketch. It kind of sits like that, so it like starts big and then goes down. That makes sense. On the actual temple itself, it goes big. Is that the exact same thing? It's just the shape of it is different.
It's not the shape of the core wire itself, or the shape of the temple?
No, the wire.
Oh, I know what you're drawing. Yeah. So yeah, I will show you that in just a second.
Okay, so that's almost on like the end bit.
Yeah. So right. So it's like I'll show you why in a second. So trying to think of where they sort of start and stop. How long are they? Do I have an example that is clear enough to figure out? Yeah. Let me grab one out of the other room. Hold on one second. Okay. So get that folded. So I'm looking at this one that's inside of this Nike frame that I did some time ago. Let's see. And this one, I'm trying to tell if it's round or not. I don't think it is. Yeah, let me just look. So basically what that sort of, let's see if I can figure out how tall it is approximately. And I'll look on, there's a manufacturer of eyewear parts called OBE, just 3 letters. They are a German company. They are sort of the standard. I mean, there are many companies that make core wires and hinges and stuff like that. We'll say it's 4.2 or something. So look up really quick. We just go to OBE.
Because that's almost part of the like hinge bracket itself.
Yeah. Let me see. So sometimes when you buy a core, or a company or supplier buys core wires, or like a factory buys core wires, they're buying like we'll say the temple hinge, or the temple hinge is like already soldered on to the core wire.
Yeah.
So it's like spring hinges. Do you have regular hinges? No, I think those are all on the page. Okay. So yeah, so sometimes I'm not exactly sure how these are made, because this looks like it's like, we just clicked on this one. It looks like it's all one part essentially. So let me just say CAD. No, I don't want to mail. What's this asking me? Oh, it's like a request. Okay. You can't just directly download theirs. But yeah, it's basically a circle. There's like these little sort of like grip steps in there, I think, that help it from sliding back out.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just sort of gets shoved in there. This one, of course, is like
I can't see your screen, by the way. I don't know if you're
oh,
showing.
sorry. Right. Forgot. Okay, so there we go.
Yeah. To be fair, I did just go on the website, so I had a quick look. But essentially, yeah, that's what I meant. That sort of like end, sort of like reeded bit is sort of.
Yeah. So it's so yeah, I mean, it's essentially that it's like a metal rod that is either swaged out or flattened, or I think it's all, I assume it's all one piece, and they've somehow flattened it out for the pressing process.
And does that essentially, that bit that sticks out, come out of the acetate itself? You know, the bit which has got the hole through it and that curve, that will sit on the outside, or that still sit in the inside of.
Depends on the type of hinge. Like the one, let me see if I can show you, because this one's kind of clear.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah.
So this one, yeah, so it's like and just so you can sort of, let me do it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Right, like it sends to, this one sits outside. This is a riveted hinge, so there's actually like on this one, I believe they've shot the core wires, the Turner phrase, that you shoot the core wire into the temple, and then for one like that's on my screen, on the temple they will have already milled out a spot for this guy to like sit outside of the temple.
Yeah.
And then excuse me, then after that they'll come back and sort of trim this where it needs to be trimmed, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it can be assembled. But for one that's like the one in my hand here, core wire gets shot, and then I think they have to come back and drill for the pins, or for the rivets rather, and then they'll actually put it in here and use a riveting machine to rivet the hinge to it. It's like I think it's the older, more original construction.
So can this sometimes be a two-part thing? So it's like the wire goes in and then the bit gets built, riveted on top.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So let me just do this really quickly. Circle that is, sorry, 1.4. And there it is. Line to the left. Let's do line that's here. 10. Okay, so usually there's like a point on the end of this. So if we not bevel, chamfer. So bevel edge, chamfer edge. Nope, that's too much. So that'd be probably 0.5.
Also, you might know this, like, because I used to use SolidWorks, and you could like specify the angle of a chamfer. Can you specify the angle of a chamfer in this program or not?
No, it's always a distance. If you wanted to, you would say
It's more just a general question because, but like I like in SolidWorks I used before, you could put it like I want a 60-degree chamfer or I want like a 35-degree chamfer. Now,
yeah,
now
you do more like
revolve and then cut away.
You'd have to build more like a you just do it manually, like you'd say,
Yeah.
okay, I want say 30, and then the distance of it, whatever the distance. What is this?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then you would just like, let's say this was
Revolve and then cut away.
This is 1, and then revolve it. Wait a minute. Sorry, what? Oh, I know what happened. This is not. Oh, no, I don't know what happened. There it is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You can split that with that guy. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can also, I mean, half the time I just use I'll just throw a cone on the end. Over there. And then you can set sort of a height. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I do most of the time, more than I tend to revolve it or anything, but it doesn't really matter. Sorry.
Do you tend to put the hinge in and then rotate it, by the way? So for like, or would you flow? What's the process? Do you normally put the
what I would do, let me just take that. I'm gonna find Temple. Here I will make another layer, just call it sort of core wire. That on there. Just make it metal, gold. Cool. Oh, look at that. That suddenly came back.
what is that? I've never
I don't
seen
know. Oh, sorry. Oh no, this is like some other. I was thinking. I don't know what any of this is. Frame. Frame. The front. I don't know. I was thinking that those black lines are on this drawing or something like that. But sorry, where's reference? Reference is under default. Still don't really know. I don't know what was on there. I'm gonna delete it for now. Okay. Sorry, this is I guess it's just generally, I'm just gonna put this. I don't think that. Okay, so yes. It's now black or gray. You don't know what that is. Oh, that's some light. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Objects are lost.
Is that for rendering that? No.
This light here?
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's just because I have all that stuff turned on. I don't. Just to sort of brighten it up a bit. Hold on. Another hinge. Not sure where that came from. I just level 1. Let me see. That is under. None of this is joined. I'm gonna flip it around. This yellow in this file just means that it's the surface is backwards.
Yeah.
This is a hinge that's more, I would say, is generally more like the one that you would use, because this face here would get soldered onto the core wire. So let me just group this real quick and see if we can.
I can see what you mean by surfaces being annoying when they're not the right way around.
Yeah, they can be a ton of no fun. So really, let me just flip it that way. Step 1. I'm trying to think. I mean, this isn't really the hinge either. I mean, this isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. If you just use that, and because I'm going to go in and build this, I'll build it myself anyway. It's just kind of more just like the principle.
Yeah. So
Unless,
you know, sort of.
yeah.
Let me do this real quick. And just so you know, on this has actually become really helpful lately. This backbase thing. So if you go into tools and options,
Yeah.
I think it's under view display modes. It's the last one, and then these will turn blue if you've changed anything in them, and I've changed something in all of them probably. So let's say in I know it's in shaded. It's under backbase settings.
Yeah. Is there now this is a question? Is there a quick way to move all the surfaces like facing outwards, or do you have to do it manually?
No, unfortunately, you would you can't really exactly pick them by. Hold on a second. Turn that off.
You can't select them and then click flip.
I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, yeah, no, it's like you can only. I just pick one, hit space bar, space bar, space bar. And I'm just hitting the space bar just to activate the last command, which is flip in this case. Oops. And I mean, a lot of times if you just join them, they will already be flipped, or it'll like say this. If I just join this, it'll unify them, in which case you still may have to flip them.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of just exploding everything and then just joining it?
Which may work, I'll say. Well, let me do. But it also everything may not join depending on how it was modeled, tolerances.
Yeah.
I'll just think here backwards. What else? What else? Saw some video stuff. This. It's strange. Just out of curiosity, because yeah, there's like this little extension. I have no like.
Yeah.
It's definitely trying. I just want to see if it joins. Oh, it does. So it's back to some dark blue. Yeah, no, it joined. Okay. But I know, like, one of the things that's odd, like, this is weird. I'd imagine that this is supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So let me just see if I can really quickly that. This needs as well. I think that's just everything. That's this guy. Hit that and join. It's an open poly surface. So like, yeah, it's, you can go and force this stuff closed. 8 edges, let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. So if I extract this surface, because it's too tall again for some reason. Okay, turn that off. I just scale this down that way. See what happens. There it is. So yeah, and so it says up there when it joined into one closed poly surface. So if I hit SE for show edges, it'll tell me that there's 28 edges on this object, no naked edges, that's the important part. And that is usually what it says, no non-manic. Yeah. So it's that, and then I'm not seeing any weird overlappy things. I don't think so. Let's just see what happens here. Can't quite tell what's happening there. Something is off. I mean, for what you're doing, I assume you're rendering it more than printing it or something. Anyway, so I just pick those, group them. Hide your orphans real quick.
But as I was saying, you would build this straight and then bend it, or?
Yeah, so you wouldn't, so yes, spin that off. You would, lock it. Okay. Let's move this guy into place-ish. And then this guy, just as a placeholder, give me the center. So like, obviously the foot is huge and too big. Let's say -5. So usually it's like, probably in this position, it's like really, this is all rotated and just the foot is like in there. I can see if I have an old Hinge file. It's like an Illustrator file that has a lot of like two like sort of essentially the top views, like basically what is ever drawn here, probably in Illustrator.
Yeah.
I will look to see if I can find that, but remind me if I forget. So yeah, like when you let me try to work those. Temple. All right. Objects, right? How would I not be able to move that there? Confused. Nothing is locked. Oh, because I already have a layer named that. That's why. Sorry. On it. There's not. Sorry. It's like, why the hell can't I move that? There's already a layer. Okay. So there's that. That. Clean up some of this. Curve. I'm gonna put this under. That. I'm gonna put Max. This is that hinge. thing here. It's like some of your original drawing things. And that's into here. Okay. Oh, that's those big dimensions. Okay. This guy, that's the page. Find the references. Okay. So, sorry, you're asking about bending the temple. So there's some of this up. Let's read the temple. Trying to clean this up somehow. Objects. Yeah. To no idea the difference at the moment. Okay, not so much shenanigans. Called one up here. Okay. I find it very helpful to just know where everything is, and I don't have to fight against that when I'm actually trying to get it done. So nothing will frustrate me more when I cannot find the thing. So yeah, so with the bending of the temple, the idea, let's see, is to okay, so your core, so just with this, for just using these guys, if we're using this as the hinge, right? I would move it from the midpoint up to there. It's like it has to be connected, right? We've got to have a. I wish there were extension lines, but there are not. It's fine. That was a little bigger. Just look at mine. I think that has to come all the way up to the front. Yeah, that's fine. So let's get the end piece. Six. About 30%. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How long have you made that? And is there a reason why you made it that long?
Oh, I just measured it off the one that's
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean Yeah, it's the excuse me. Yeah, it's just what I measured off of the one that's in my hand,
Yeah.
the Nike one. Okay. So essentially, this sort of gets chamfered down or something like that as well. I'm gonna move this there. Don't know how thick it is, but I'm assuming it's probably one. And we can, let's see, take curve. Say 1.3 seems about right for now. Hold on the OBE site, sorry. And they show the trade on view. It's like a much longer lead in than I'm drawing. Yeah, it's 10 maybe.
Do you tend to build when you build models yourself? Are you tending to build these in or not really?
This part, no. I mean, it'll be placeholder. You know what I mean? If it's an acetate frame, I'm rarely making it in 3D. Like let's say to render it or something like that. But if it's to, yeah, it's like I'd probably just draw it in Illustrator.
Yeah.
But
and the clients you work with, do you think they see enough from?
What's that?
Do you think that they see enough from Illustrator to be able to sign off a eyewear piece, or do you then normally go and after drawing it in 2D build a model and then 3D printing and showing them that, or is it cheap enough to get a sample made?
Yeah, I think they usually they understand it well enough. Or I may have, it very much depends on the project and like, is there just something I can get from a factory that, you know what, I'm sorry, let me just do this real quick. I was trying to do set points, action, that. Don't really need that. Okay. And sorry, if I was just going to shorten this, I could cut it off, or I would probably really just explode this and scale this. Well, back there. Oh, end is open inner surface. And so, right, this is 1.4, sorry. Yeah, like whether this needs to be like exactly the same width, don't honestly know. But for now, we can scale it that way if we want. Like,
Yeah.
Out to the quad of that. For rendering, like that's certainly more than enough. Okay, so this would all be on the core wire. Wire. So goldish color. So, right, so if I was bending it realistically or typically in a very, what's the word I'm looking for? In a basic kind of way, like I'm only going to bend it from here back. Like I'm not bending the whole temple, I'm bending it. Like in this case, I'd probably move these temple bender things farther back. So, and if I turn, sorry, the ISO curves on this guy, it's going to look a little bit like hell versus this one, which is going to look very simple. Oh, it's not even a, hold on. Okay. Right, so like it necessarily adds more ISO curves to when you use the bender, but that's okay because you're never going to edit this directly probably. And I would, oh, sorry, this is on what layer? So 2. You just see what's on circle 1 now that I, oh right, one of these is like a bit more complex of a curve, I guess you would say, or not more complex, but like, sorry. This one bent. Okay, so, but probably before I even bent it, I'd be going through to run the fillets, or let me look at your orthos real quick just to see if we don't have a top view. I wasn't sure if what the here we go. Like what the temple is actually doing at the temple tip. Like, I mean, I can see that, oh, you can sort of see the core wire in there. See that it sort of ran through kind of low. And there's some knurling on it. I don't know if there's what they call like a temple spoon at the back, like where it might have excuse me. It might do a little of that, just so that when you slide it on your face, it doesn't, this corner isn't poking you.
Yeah.
But point is all that I would try to consider as much as possible when it's straight and then just bend it, because that's essentially how it is made.
And essentially now is you would just go and you would bend the
correct.
temple.
Let's see, let me just look and see.
And then obviously without like fillets, other bits and like the hardware, that pretty much is it, right?
Sorry, say that again about the hardware.
Once you've bent it, that and then you've done like the final touches, that is pretty much the frame, right?
Sorry, it's fading out right with the last thing you're saying.
That is pretty much like once you've bent it, put it into place, like that is essentially the step you would take for most aesthetic frames if you were going.
Yeah. It's like once that's like the last, like at a factory, that's essentially the last thing they do, and so yeah, that would be the last event. That would be the last thing you do. So once this guy is like, if you've gone and sometimes I'll have just like say if this is your silhouette, let me turn your orthos back on just to see. It's like, I don't know if I drew this silhouette or if you did, but it just seems a little like it's maybe just a touch short. Oh, there you go. Let me see. I'm just looking at this front thing again, or this end piece is becoming a problem. Or if I could really just delete that. Okay, so we've got this one, and then that one. Okay, so it's probably not that one. if I did, let's see, guessing for distance. 10, this is 11.5, so. And then let's see, this is, sorry, there, the bend is 6.8. What's this?
I need to shoot off in a couple minutes, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I probably need to do the same. I think, yeah, so it's, I just measuring the height of the bend here, and it's like, yeah, it's, I want to do that up. Um, getting there. Yeah, 6.6, so it's like it's still even thinner. So, I mean, again, I'm just trying to get something like that to happen. This. That's the interior stuff. Okay. But so that this, you know, is in the range of
Yeah. So just measuring it against your sketch and then.
Yeah. Oh, it's all the way up here. Typically, I tend to smooth this, some of this guy. Don't. Like this, 4. So yeah, you might just, I mean, you could do something as simple as fill it there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I think that's really more what this curve was originally about, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Let's see, length. That's the 4. So yeah, it's like this is probably, I don't remember if I drew this or if you did. I assume I did. But it's like if you wanted to thicken out or thin down at any point.
Yeah.
Use X direction. 7 there. Not real sure if that is one. So then, yeah, I don't think you need these guys. They're in the older file, so don't worry. It's probably more this curve and this curve that are gonna be your benders. Again, I'd probably move them to here. So I'm not bending this stuff, because usually this stuff isn't going to get bent. I probably can just go.
And what do you do? Because you want to keep that beginning bit straight, do you cut it and then, or would you just keep the line straight and then so you draw a straight line now off that? So when you
Yeah, it's like you would, let's see. That's what I was going to do.
Would you just literally just draw a straight line and then?
Like one thing I do is like check my temple length. So 150, probably on the long side, I would say, which is fine. Yeah, so I mean, you just take literally, I mean, get rid of this guy since that's not the right shape anymore. And give it, let me see. So this guy, just check the length of that, 115, about 115. What's with that? But basically, I'm checking the length of that those are the same so that it doesn't like flow it, it doesn't stretch it, or it minimizes how much it sort of stretches it, you know, so it's close.
Yeah, you want it near enough the same length, right?
Yeah. This just feels like way too many points. 1, 2. It feels like not way too many, but too many points. Back there somewhere, something like that. Yeah, sure. 947, 845. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. So yeah, then you would just, it doesn't really matter where these are. Like, I mean, it sort of matters in this direction, but it can be high, low. It doesn't, I don't think it matters. So you just pick that object. We would start with the golden one and then go to the green one. Go this guy.
Would you bend the wire separately as well?
Yeah, you actually can do them all in
In the same one, okay.
yeah.
So I need to shoot off to another call. Thank you. I think genuinely the plan me is just to attempt a whole new build and see how far I get.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's watching it and then there's doing it.
And then the one thing I was going to ask is I was also curious if you're willing, is like a wireframe and how to go about that at one point.
What do you mean by wireframe?
As in like just a wide pair of sunglasses.
Oh, like a metal pair?
Yeah, metal frame.
Oh yeah.
Because they use wire to like wrap around. Sorry, that's why I say wire. Sorry.
Oh, you mean just like if the front?
Because that's how that's how it's normally worked. They like take a piece of metal and wrap it around the lenses, right?
Oh yeah. Just like any of these types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can show you how to do that. Sure.
Okay. I just like the difference between that and something like this. But it's good. I do appreciate it massively. Thank you.
Of course, happy to. Reminds me I should put a course together about this type, more like this than the one I had on my.
I think you'd be surprised how many people would be interested.
Yeah.
Because there's very little out there.
Yeah, and it's pretty low grade.
And I feel like unless you work, and I can imagine most companies that are working eyewear, they're probably only working 2D, right?
For the most part, yeah, a lot of them are just in 2D, yeah.
Yeah.
So I will save this in the recording, and I'll send this to you shortly, the version 5, and then
my hero. Well,
awesome,
enjoy.
man.
Well, hope
safe travels along. Enjoy, and we'll
thank you. Hope you enjoy tomorrow. Yeah, I will be. I'll hopefully I'll get some progress done. I'll start a new frame.
Okay.
We can try and attack the battle frame.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, talk to you later. Bye.